Hey, you're here for a Destruction All-Star tier list? Well, get ready because we're going to get right into it right after this. So stay tuned. We got a lot to talk about. Alright guys, so here we are doing a tier list for Destruction All-Star. So just to be specific, this is going to be a tier list just for the game on Carnado. And we're just going to do this with no edit or anything. So if I mess up here, I apologize, but yeah, it's going to be just for Carnado, because some characters might be better at other game modes. And just so you know, so a sample, like for characters at D tier here, that team might be better in another game mode like a B or something, so keep that in mind. And also we're doing Carnado because that's like the most popular game mode in my opinion and the most fun, so why not just do Carnado a tier list because that's the best one. And also, the important part, the two key factors we're going to take in mind is ground ability and super ability. So if you don't know what I mean by that, ground ability is going to be your character's ability when they're walking around the map, and super ability is going to be your super ability, of course, right? Example like Bluefang, when he does the shredder on his truck, you chop people up. So before we get right into it, if you're wondering why you should take my opinion, well, I have a lot of hours in the game. I probably got like 60 by now, and I'm a level 100. I'm literally one away for prestige. Yes, you're wondering prestige, yeah, that's how the leveling works. And once you reach level 100, you max that out and you just go back to number 1 and you get a bronze, like silver plate, kind of like Overwatch leveling system. Like every time you level up, you keep going up and just getting different tiers, just so you can get points, so you can unlock loot packs, right? So that's how that works. So I think my opinion is pretty good, but let me know if you guys agree with me with this tier list once we get into it now, and in the comment below what you guys think, and or if you think what the character's better at and all that. I would love to know in the comments. So all right, here we go. So here we got Angelo first. So Angelo, his super vehicle is decent. What it does, I'm putting him at D for right now. Let's explain why. So his super vehicle is decent, right? What it does, you can lock on an enemy that you pick, and then what it does, it makes you go faster to track that enemy down, and if you hit him, you do extra damage, which is great because you could get it, like take almost half their health away just with a normal hit, and you're speeding up to catch up to them on the chase. The problem that I have with him is that, let's say you lock on somebody and they just cash into the tornado, or they got out of their vehicle because it'll notify them when they're getting tracked on. They get out their vehicle, then you're stuck on that lock on a person that's probably just walking around because he knows you're locked on him, and you can't do nothing at that point because you're not going to be able to hit him with your car with him in the high ground. So it's kind of like a GG right there at that point. If someone's smart and they know they get tracked by Angelo, you just get out your vehicle and avoid it, right? So that's an issue. And going faster is cool, but I feel like you don't need to go faster, and like there's so many other ways to like be beneficial than just going faster, because going faster actually makes you miss, I feel like, in my opinion. But anyways, then his ground ability is just a flashbang. So if people get close to him trying to ram him, he does his ground ability and it does like a big flash, and it's faster than for like 2 seconds or so. So yeah, not very good there. So that's why I'm putting him at a D tier. He could be a C with his vehicle, but you just, like I said, if you lock on somebody and they know you're locking on them, because you're going to notify them, they just get out their vehicle and that's it. You got to wait until that whole cooldown goes down, and then you can lock on someone else, and that's kind of a waste. So next up we got Bluefang. So Bluefang, I gotta put him at an A tier right now. Real quick, you're wondering why not S tier. Well, I would love to put him S tier, but I'm gonna take that at the perspective of if you're a new player into the game. I think he's better at A tier only because yes, he's really great. He could get instant kills with his super. The only reason I think he belongs in A tier is because pretty much if you miss your super, right, you mistime it and you do not hit someone with your super, you gotta wait for it to recharge, and it takes quite a bit. I think it might take like 10 seconds just to recharge, 12 seconds. I'm not sure the actual time, but it takes a while, right, for you to get to use your super again. But if you do get the hit, you can possibly get 2 kills instantly, and if someone's chasing you, the coolest thing with Bluefang, you can just drift and make them run into you and you turn on your super and then you get the kill. That's very cool too, because people won't expect that. So important note, don't go head to head on a Bluefang, because you won't know if he has a super or if he's just holding it for someone to go right at him to turn it on and then kill you. Best way to take out Bluefangs is hitting them in the side or the back just to be safe. But his ground ability is pretty decent too. Not that crazy, just he gets fangs on his claws, so you hit people, you do some damage. I think if you get 2 hits or 3 hits in a row with his claws, you get a KO on someone. So it takes quite a bit. Not the best either, but his super is so overpowered that it's hard not to put him on a high tier, and yeah, he belongs on a A tier for sure, guys. So next we got Genesis, and Genesis is a issue, guys, because like the character is very cool. I feel it has potential, but like I said, going fast I feel like it's not good for you, because the maps, when you're playing on Carnado, the maps are not as big, right? They're pretty small. Genesis is probably best in the Las Vegas map, because it's just a roundabout circle, right? Pretty much straight, going straight. But her boost on her super is like, you don't really need it, because yeah, you're going fast, you could do an extra little more damage by hitting them that hard, because depending how fast you go, that's how hard the hit you're gonna get. But it's like so pointless, because I'd rather have something. It's like, you compare to what like we just did Bluefang. Why would you pick Genesis over Bluefang when you could just get 2 to 3 kills with 1 super use of Bluefang? When Genesis, you're doing boost, but it's the same thing, just going faster, right? So it's pointless at that point. And then her ground ability just makes her run super fast, which I think is kind of dumb in a way, because every time you use your ground ability on any character, you already get some speed boost, but on Genesis it just doubles that. So it's like you're running even faster, like the Flash. But it's kind of like, what's the point of that? Because yeah, I already run fast normally with other characters, so you're making me run even faster. So it's kind of weird. I think she's a D tier too. I know, look, so far the tier that's not looking good, but don't worry, it's gonna get better, guys. So yeah, that's Genesis. You tell me, guys, what you think in the comments below. So next we got Hannah, and Hannah, man, I gotta put her at C. So Hannah is like the bootleg version of Bluefang. That's what I compare it to, right? And what I mean by that, her super is similar to Bluefang, right? Is she gets these her car gets like a super, I don't know, samurai sword down the middle of her car, and it sounds cool, right? And when you see it looks cool, but the problem is that you need to literally hit the car with that line down the middle of the car or the side of the car to get the KO. You can't hit it like I guess diagonal. I can't even say that word, but you can't hit it like, if you're going like this, the car, you can't hit it like that, you won't get the kill. You gotta get it through the half or in the front, right? That's the only way to get the KO. It lasts pretty a long while. You get 2 KOs possibly, longer lasting than Bluefang. Just harder to get KOs on, because using it to make sure you get the hit like that is a little hard. I think it's okay. Like Bluefang is so much better in that point, because you don't gotta work that hard on it. But I think it's a little harder to do. Her ground ability though, probably one of the best. Her ground ability will be an S tier. That's what I was thinking, putting her B tier, but we'll put her at C for now. But her ground ability, what it does is push this little like swords around you, pretty much a little circle aura. And when you hit somebody, you get an instant KO. There's no hitting them twice or nothing. So you hit them once, right, with your punch, they die instantly. So that's very awesome, and I think that's cool. So that's a reason why she's good. Her vehicle, all right, and then her sustain on her vehicle is not good either. So that's another thing I should probably talk about more, but that's the reason Genesis and Angelo are down there, because the vehicle sustain is not that high. They get destroyed pretty fast, especially Genesis, and Hannah, the same thing. So keep that in mind, guys. Sustain, what I mean by that, the health you get on that vehicle and how much damage you could take. So all right, let's go with the next one. We got Harmony. So Harmony, she's pretty cool. She could be an A tier, but her ground ability is so pointless that I still, to this day, it doesn't really make sense to me, because I got it right here. I think, well, I got the description because it just doesn't make sense. So while the breakers add the harmony bars blast out to supersonic wave that can hit from a distance. So supposedly, I done this. I never give damage point. It's kind of like the ability from, who is it? Who we talking about? What we got here? I'm getting confused with my names here. Vatu, that my, oh, I can't believe I forgot my favorite character. That's my favorite character, but getting into it. So it's kind of like abilities of Ratu. You know, her ground ability, when you hit it, it knocks anyone around her down, and it could damage vehicles a little. So harmony supposedly does the same thing, but only to damage vehicle. Every time I do this near somebody or vehicle, I get no damage. So I don't know if it's broken or anything, but her ground ability is just pointless. But her vehicle, which is her super, it's very nice, and I like it a lot because it's pretty much like it does a lot of damage. And the reason I say it could be an A tier, when you use her super ability, it blows the cars away, right, with the sonic blast of the, you know, surround sounds and all that stuff. And what's cool, you're doing damage just by doing that first, and then if the car hits, if you didn't notice, if you hit somebody and the car gets, you know, hits the wall or something and gets more damage by running into a wall or anything, a pole, then you get the points for that too. So what's cool, when you do the sound thing, it sends them flying, and you get damage for sending them flying, and then because the way they land, if they land against a wall or anything, they take damage, and you get points for that too. So it's very valuable. It charges up pretty quick, to believe it or not, which is very cool. So her super is very nice. She's up there. She could be at A, but I'm gonna put her at B just because her ground ability is kind of useless. So here we go. We got Lupita next. So Lupita, I know a lot of people are gonna hate on this, but let me explain why. But I'm gonna put her at C. I love the character, great. She's a great character. She's probably the best character to do damage output. Very quick before I forget. Harmony sustain is actually very good, guys, just so you know. Harmony sustain is very nice. She doesn't die real quick, and like I said, her supercharge quick, so her sustain is good. Lupita's sustain is not great, but that's because she has a super fast vehicle. The reason I got her at C is because, yes, like I was saying, she could do the most damage on your team. You know, she's great at doing damage because with her fire. The downside that I put her down here is because what people don't know is when you have a Lupita on your team and they do the fire ability, they could damage teammates. So in other words, if my friend is Lupita and he does his fire ability and I'm near him and I drive over it, he's damaging me. He won't get points, obviously, but he's doing damage to me and I'm taking damage. So let's say I was like half health and I was close to like getting 50 points, right, with a basic vehicle. My friend does the super, I run into his fire. He did it near me. I couldn't avoid it, and then he ends up killing me, and there goes 50 points pretty much, right? So it's like that, just because of that alone, it's annoying. And that's even with her ground ability. So her ground ability is very good. You do a fire trail also, that's why she's good at doing damage, but she damages teammates. So that's like the issue, like the fact that she can damage teammates. I don't know if they're gonna patch that or fix it in a future update, but it's kind of annoying because she's the only character that can literally kill your teammates like in a funny way. So it's kind of weird that she's the only one that could do that. But yeah, if you saw my videos with the 20 tips and tricks, it'll be up there. So I was gonna say that, so if you have Fuego, the benefit is if you're using Fuego and there's a Lupita on another team, you're on Fuego's vehicle, and I think maybe on a basic vehicle you won't get damaged by her fire, which is really cool. It makes sense, right? Because Fuego is fire also. So if you run into a Lupita, you won't take no damage from fire. So keep that in mind. So if you got a teammate running Lupita and you're Fuego, you're okay. But anyone else, you're gonna take damage. So keep that in mind. That's why I got our C tier. So it's just that, you know, that's the reason. So next we got Muna, I believe. And Muna, for beginners, guys, very good character. Man, I think we gotta put her S tier. You guys are probably wondering, man, this guy's walling. But alright, let me explain. The reason I put her S tier, I did so many test runs, and it's pretty much her groundbreaker, guys. Her super is great, but her groundbreaker makes her, like, the overall on her abilities is so good that that's what makes her amazing. So her ground ability, the way it works, she does this like gravitation magnetics. So you know those little protection barriers that if you stand on them, it activates and they go up. Well, what her ability does is, and when you use it, it activates all those barriers to go up real quick, as long as you're walking with, I think probably like 2 feet from them, possibly, right? They all start going up, so you can literally, when you're going to the tornado, there's barriers all around it, so you can activate all those barriers and prevent people from cashing in and getting points, just from them running into it, and possibly helping your teammates, stopping them and damaging them, right? So that ability alone is very awesome, very clutch. Helps teams win, and you get guaranteed 5 points just from not even being on your vehicle. Like, she's probably the best character to be on the ground with her ability. And then her super, this is the best part, is that the way it works is pretty much you use these magnetic fields and you get armor every time you do damage to someone. So you start off with no armor, you use it, and if you hit somebody, you'll take like the whatever damage you did to them, it goes onto your car and it gives you armor. And then you'll notice around your health bar there's like a little armor casing graded out, that will show like, oh, you're getting armor, and if you fill it all the way, then you get full armor. And if you get hit, they're not going to take your health, they're going to take that armor piece off. So that makes her the best high sustained character in the game, and because of that alone, it makes her so valuable for anyone that's a new player in the game, and veterans, because that means you could just constantly do damage and not worry about taking damage, and then you could just get 80 points within a run and then just cash in. She's probably the best character to cash in and not worry about dying. Obviously Lupita could damage her with her fire, but it's just very crazy. Just to note that if you do run into a Bluefang with your armor, you're still gonna die. That doesn't not prevent you from dying. I'm pretty sure I tested it out with my friend, but if you guys want to test it too, let me know what you guys think, if you guys survive with a Bluefang with armor. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you will die. So next up we got Ratu, guys, and Ratu, she gotta be an S tier character, guys, also. So we're getting to the S tier, guys, so that's good, right? We're getting up there. So the reason Ratu is an S tier is because her super vehicle, honestly. Her ground ability is okay. Like I said, I was talking about it earlier. She does as she knocks people down near her, and she could damage vehicle. Not that crazy, right? Pretty basic. But her super is what gives her the greatness, is because it's pretty much a mini nuke, and it's pretty crazy, and it kills people walking near you and people's vehicle. And so the way it works, it is a little hard to get it up there, so she could be an A tier, because it is hard to work her way up. But I'm gonna put her S tier, because if you do, you're guaranteeing winning for your team. So the way it works, you gotta hit drive your vehicle around for a while, do some damage, and then you're gonna see it charge up in the middle. Once you charge it up, that's when you get to use your super, and then that's where you gotta wait, I believe 3 seconds or 4 seconds, probably like that, can't remember correctly. And then it makes you drive a little slower, just so you know, and then anyone that's around your AoE, they just die instantly, like literally they just die, you obliterate them. And so every time I do her super, I'm near the tornado, because I know people are trying to cash in or driving near it, right? And I always get guaranteed 80 points, especially when there's people walking around near the tornado, trying to get the breakers for your team and all that stuff. So she's just great at getting 80 points instant with her nuke. It's just very crazy. And her vehicle has high sustain too, so that's something I love about her, that her vehicle is just great high sustain, and you just once you get that nuke, it's GG's and guarantee 80 points. So I think that's really awesome. So next we got Jean, or Gian, right? I think it's Jean. He's good. I would want to put him at B tier. Man, do I? I'm gonna put him at C, guys. I think I'm gonna put him at C. Yeah, I'm gonna put him at C. Why I'm putting him at C? Well, his vehicle doesn't have high sustain. It dies real quick. But anyways, let's go to his groundbreaker first. So his groundbreaker is pretty cool. It's similar to another character we'll be talking about soon. So you drop like these little mines, and it's kind of like gravity mines in a weird way. So when you run into them, it damages you, and then it moves your car to like run into a wall, so he'll get point if your car hits his mine and then you hit a wall right after. So kind of like a forced push, I guess, when you hit his mine. So that's pretty cool. So his mines are pretty useful. So his super, it's good, but like the way I compare it, it's like a bootleg version of who was it we were talking about, Muna, right, which is with the magnets, right, her armor shell. It's a bootleg version of that because he doesn't have the high sustain, and two, you don't keep the armor forever. You gotta use the ability. The ability just charge up quick, but the way it spikes coming out of your car, it's very cool at times, but the problem is that you get hit, you still take damage, even though they say you'll do the damage back. So the way it works, you get hit, you'll do damage at them. So if you're just idle or not moving, so that's how that works. You'll just be doing damage while you're getting hit. The problem is he doesn't have high sustain, so when you're getting hit, you're pretty much risking that you're about to die, even though you're doing damage to them. So it's kind of like one of those, like, yeah, he does good damage, and you're doing damage back when you get hit, but you're gonna die like in 3 hits literally. So that's why I think he's belongs in the C tier, just because of that, because it's just a big issue for sure. So next we got Twinkle, I think it's her name, and this is the boot. It's pretty much like Diva from Overwatch. But anyways, she's a D tier, guys. Horrible. Her ground breaker, I'm not even gonna get into her ground ability because it doesn't even make sense to me, and every time I do it, I don't even get it. The description doesn't even make sense either, honestly, on that one. But her vehicle ability, it's actually, I don't know, it's just very disappointing because the way the description describes it is that every time you hit an enemy, it boosts up your ability. You use it stays active for a while, right? And every time you hit a person, you're supposed to hit them even harder, do like a farther hit. And I feel like it doesn't even do it well. Like if it does it, maybe it's not doing it that high, and it's just very weird at that point. So yeah, it's just very pointless, not great. And then you would think having such a small vehicle will make it harder to hit you, but for some weird reason, it makes it easier to hit this character in some weird ways. I always thought it would be harder to hit a small vehicle, but she still is super easy to hit, and her sustain is so bad that 2 hits gets her killed literally, with a heavy vehicle. So yeah, not great at all. I would not recommend her, guys. Also, I'm gonna get a drink of water real quick and we'll be right back. Yeah, so we are back, and I ended up getting a Funko package, so I did a video on that, which I'll probably post in 2 days from now, probably from this upload. That's why you see new Funkos above me. So yeah, if you want to check out that series, I'm a lot of Funko videos coming up. So anyways, here we go. Got Sergeant Rescue next. Sergeant Rescue, he's cool. He's a great team player, and I'm gonna put him at B tier because I already had that in my mind. Better than an A, or not that bad as going to C. The reason I say that is because pretty much his super vehicle makes him get into B, and let's explain why he's a team player. So with his ground ability, the way it works is you do a smoke screen, right, where you walk kind of like Lupita, but it doesn't go for long distance. You actually got to go drive really close to him with his smoke screen on his body up, and if you drive near him, you'll get blind. And then if you blind someone that try to get to take a KO on you walking around, then if he hits a wall with this, him blind for like 4 to 5 seconds, you get points. So that's pretty cool there. Anyone that walks near you will get blind too, but you don't get points, obviously. They walk into a wall because they're just walking. So that's how his ground ability works. Where he shines is pretty much a super vehicle, and it's because his super vehicle is a nice big truck. It has high sustain, and every time you hit someone, it'll pretty much blind that car for like literally 10 seconds. It feels like it's 10 seconds. I don't know the exact time, but it feels like it's 10 seconds. And it's so clutch that I think I was playing one match with Vatu, favorite characters you already know, and I did the nuke. I had 80 points. There was 10 seconds left on the clock. I had to cash in, but a Sergeant Rescue hit me before I could turn, and I was blinded almost for the last 10 seconds. And by the time the smoke wore off, it was too late for me to go cash in, and then we lost. If I would have cashed in, we would have won the game. That's how crazy that was. The Sergeant Rescue clutched it for them right there. So that's a perfect example why I think Sergeant Rex is a great team player. He doesn't shine by himself. You know, he's not great at getting. It doesn't help him do more damage or get instant kills or nothing. But as a team player, he's clutch because let's say you got a Sergeant Rescue on your team. He's pretty clutch because let's say you're playing with friends. I always recommend having one of you guys run him. Let's say you use super, you blind somebody, let your friend know, hey, or anyone you're playing with, right? I just blind him. He can't see. Most of the time, when you blind someone, either they're gonna just keep driving, run into a wall, and get damaged, and then your friend can come in and hit him, and then you pretty much get destroyed a KO at that point. Or they're gonna just drive a little slow so they won't run into walls. That means it's easier target to hit. Or they're gonna do a full stop, and you can just get an easy target. So my point is that if you're playing with a team or friends, you know, you could tell them, be like, hey, I just blind him, go get him. He doesn't know where you're coming from. So that's very clutch because he's a great team player because he helps other people do better by him blinding people. So very cool stuff. So anyways, next we got Seif. I think that's how you say his name. Seif is so cool. He had potential, but he's very basic for like the vehicle stuff, you know. Kind of like his pretty much his ground ability. He goes invisible, pretty pointless because if you're dodging, anyways, you know, you don't need to go invisible, and it's not like you run super fast or anything. Just basic speed every time you use your ground ability, right? When you get that little speed boost, so his invisibility is not great, and you would think, oh, maybe it'll help me walk, you know. Well, in reality, no, because if you still gotta dodge and keep an eye out for cars, so it's not like they're not gonna hit you, because people could just be driving fast, and you know, you're walking, you know, you gotta keep an eye for cars and dodge it anyways. At that point, it's kind of like, you know, it's gonna be ain't great, that's for sure. His super vehicle pretty decent, okay sustain, fast car, it goes invisible, that's his special, and you would think it'll be very cool because you're invisible, no one can see where you're coming from. Well, downside is, of course, they could kind of see where you're at. If you're pretty close, you could tell there's something cloak. So if you're close to a Seif, you could tell he's next to you, invisible, so you could like see the like cloak reflection or whatever. And two, yeah, I think the reason he's a C character, yeah, you could do some damage and do some clutch plays because they won't see you coming. But the downside is every time you hit somebody, your cloak goes off. Even if you get tapped or anything, your cloak goes off. So I think it would have been cooler if you hit somebody, your cloak doesn't go off. It only goes off when you get hit by someone or something. I think that would have been cooler because that would have made him a god, pretty much almost a S tier character if your cloak stays on every time you hit someone. But the fact that it turns off every time, you know, you hit somebody or you get tapped or anything or run into a wall, that's kind of annoying because let's say you hit somebody, cloak goes off, the enemy, a teammate that you just hit, sees that you hit his friend, he's gonna see you and go hit you because you're stuck in that animation. So yeah, I think that's why he's a C character, guys. Anyways, let's go with Sander. So Sander, he had the potential to be A. I just can't remember how one of his super vehicle ability works. But let's talk about his ground ability. So his ground ability is probably the second best in the game, honestly, out of all characters. He drops mines around the floor. It's a guaranteed 5 points every time you use his ground ability. Always use it. It's just people run into it, you know, because people are going so fast. Usually I set it around the tornado where people are going to cash in, and I get a lot of points like that. Or I set it in the main roads where, you know, people are constantly driving back and forth on. Very cool mines. People run into it all the time. Kind of like Jeans, you know, with mines, but his are better because they do a lot of damage, and Jeans is more like it just pushes you, and he gotta hope that the push makes you run into a wall, you know. So, and I feel like, I don't know, Sanders are harder to avoid for some weird reason, so that's another thing. Anyways, his super vehicle, okay sustain, you know, it's a fast vehicle. The way it works, it's just like Angelo. So these characters are so alike that he's pretty much the better version of Angelo, only because, you know, he has the better ground ability than Angelo. So why I say they're so alike is because he does the same thing. He activates a recon and it locks on a random player on the map. You don't get to pick, like Angelo, you actually pick your target to lock on. Not with Sander, pick somebody random for you. Usually it hits the vehicle, right? And if you hit that vehicle, you get double the points, meaning like, let's say you hit someone for 10 points, you get 20 points instant, just like that. So he's great for Carnado at that reason. Only thing I can't remember is that, let's say someone get out their vehicle, I think it stays locked on them, and that's why I had them at B tier, because that means you're stuck on until they get off, get in another vehicle. But if I remember, I can't remember, sure, comment below if you guys know. I think if once it knows it's locked on someone that's not in a car, it'll change to somebody else and go on somebody that's actually in a car, and they do some damage. I'm not sure on that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's how he works. If that's how it works, he's an A character for sure, because that means he's not like Angelo, where you're stuck on focus on that guy that got out his vehicle, can't do nothing about it, right? So Sanders, same thing. If you lock on someone, it's going to notify the player that you locked on. So if they're smart, they'll just get out the vehicle, that way you won't get the extra or they'll just try and damage you. But very cool character. I think he could be an A character, but I can't remember exactly how it works. So anyways, we got my man the Luchador, that's what we're gonna call him, because that's literally what he's imitating. I'm putting him at A because this guy was surprising. I thought he was a C character at first, and then like, oh, he's pretty decent, B. Then I used him even more after more hours on the game, and he's pretty clutch. So his ground ability, and he's actually the best character for newbies and newcomers. If you're new to the game, I recommend using him because you're gonna love it. It's like the best new character you could use in this game. So let's get into it. His ground ability, pretty much how it works is that you use it, you can't get KO'd from walking around. So every time you get hit by a car that's driving around with your ground ability up, you won't die. You just get hit, you get the animation, but you won't die. Like, you can't get KO'd. So that's very cool. Yeah, they will get the other team will get points for hitting you, but they won't get the KO. So that's pretty cool. That means you don't gotta really, you could, like, if you want, you could just walk around. That's why I say it's good for newcomer until they learn how to do the dodging on vehicles and doing the timing, like with the spidey senses. So until you learn all of that, I think that he's very good for newcomers for that, because you don't got to worry about that. You can just walk around with his ground ability, you won't die. So his super vehicle is a nice big truck. It's very slow, of course, the turning slow also for the drifting, but it has probably the highest sustain in the game, probably behind Muna, I believe, which is the I can't remember her name right now, even though we were talking about it earlier. But I think he has a higher sustain than her, or close to her, possibly higher. And so the way his ability works on his super, he puts this armor in front of his car, right? And literally, do not. That's why I say do not go head on with Bluefang and the Luchador here. And I actually did a video on tips and tricks. I'll probably pop it up right there next to wherever there, right? Never go head on to these characters, because like Bluefang, he can activate his fangs whenever. My man the Luchador here, he has that. If you see that armor up, if you go head on, you're not gonna damage him for one, and you're gonna get damaged hard. He's gonna do a lot of damage to you, and he doesn't even need to be driving fast. As long as you run into him, he's gonna do the damage to you. It's kind of like you're running into a wall, and that's pretty cool about him. So you got like that wall fortress in front of your car. So the only way you could damage him is by hitting him in the side or from the back. So that's, and like he has such high sustain, it's hard to get him KO like that. And most people that use him, they'll like do a drift because they know someone chasing them, make them run into them, and he does the damage at you because you're pretty much running into a wall. So he's very cool on that. That's why I say he's great for newcomers who do high sustain. And then that's not even including when you hit people with your wall going full speed. It's like you're literally like a freight train going through cars. You could 2-tap people in any car that are basic cars. They hit them twice really hard, they die instantly. So he does a lot of damage, and you can rack up points just with his armor. I believe the recharge rate on his ability is pretty quick too. It doesn't take that long to recharge, so you can use it again. So it's faster than Bluefang, and it stays active for a pretty amount of time. So I like that a lot about him. So very great character. Goes to S tier, not up there yet, only because like he is a slow truck, and not many people might like the slower vehicles in this game. Right? They probably like the speedster. So next we got Box Top. Box Top. So his ground ability is very clutch. I think he has the 3rd best ground ability. He's pretty much like Sanders' ground ability, except I think he helps teammates. I don't understand. The description line that says that Box helps his teammates if they pick it up with their car. I don't know if they mean that heals him up, but I haven't really seen it in work. It's kind of weird. It doesn't really explain it well, and when you do it, you don't really see it work like that. But I'm gonna put him at B with Sander. Um, Pretty much right. His ground ability, he drops boxes around. If people run into it, just like Sander, they're like mines, but just boxes, right? You get points. You get 5 points easily with him with his ground ability. Very great ability. Um, I don't know how it works with your teammates, so we're just gonna skip that part. But continuing his super vehicle, this is why I got him at B tier, because his super vehicle, the problem is that it's kind, I don't know why, but it feels, it's a slow vehicle for one. The sustain is okay, not high, and for some reason the drifting on that car is like slower than usual than other vehicles. It feels slower, right? It feels like more stiff. I don't know, just because it's like the way the truck is, but that's one downside on that. And the way his super ability works is that you activate it, it lasts for a good amount of time, and every time you hit somebody, it shoots boxes at them and it does damage for them. It does like probably three points of damage on them. So cool stuff. You got to make sure you hit people, so that's kind of like a downside on that. And the fact that you're only getting 3 points every time you hit someone with the boxes is okay. So I feel like if you got guaranteed 5 or more for hitting someone, and when the box does damage, you get more points, I think that would be cooler. But no, it's okay. It's one of those things where you got to keep hitting people. Seeing that his vehicle is hard to turn on and like catch up to people in general, it's pretty difficult, and that's why I think he's better at B. But his ground ability is great. He has potential to be better. I think if they raise up the damage on his boxes that from his super, when you hit someone, I think that he'll be for sure an A tier character for sure. Possibly even C if they raise up that damage. That would be amazing. So here we got Fuego, my man Fuego, and he's one of my favorites. We're putting him real quick S tier. So he's very cool because what can we start like? So his ground ability is he puts himself on fire, literally. Every time you hit square, he will leave like a circle, like pretty much a puddle of fire, on the floor. Every time you hit square, like that's when you're trying to tackle someone, but you can just hit square, leave puddles on the floor. That way, if a vehicle drives over it, they'll get burned. And he's also another character, just like Hannah. If you leave a puddle of fire and a person's walking around and they walk into your puddle of fire, they actually die instantly. So he could get instant killed. But, you gotta hope the person's not looking and they run into your fire thinking like, oh, look at this fire. But the chances are low of that happening. But the fact that it could have, the fact that you get KOs on that is pretty cool. Because I have gotten some. That's how I know. But it's a pretty cool thing that he's one of the few characters that could get instant KO. Obviously, Hannah's the best one with instant KOs, but we already talked about her. So then his super vehicle is a nice fast car. It has good sustain, to believe it or not. Very good sustain. It's a decent speed, and it puts the car just puts itself on fire every time you hit somebody. You burn them for overtime damage, which is very clutch. It does a lot of damage, and I don't know why with Fuego. Maybe just because he's my favorite, but he could possibly be an A tier character too. But with Fuego, I feel like every time I use him, I get 80 points. It's rare that I don't, and if I don't, it's because I messed up and I killed, or I just had to cast in earlier. But that fire damage is so clutch, because if you hit 3 people in a run with that fire, you pretty much get 80 points. Because if you hit them at full speed, you're getting that fire damage overtime. So let's say you hit someone for like I don't know, 10 points, then the fire damage overtime, it almost gives you 20. So it's real quick on the point rack up. So I like it a lot for sure, and he's one of my favorites, and I think that's why he deserves to be an S tier character. But alright guys, let's do a quick recap. I know this video been a little long than usual, so many characters to talk about, but quick recap. So we got here Angelo, Genesis, and Twinkles. I think they're perfect at D tier. Like I said, Angelo just struggles with that lock on when get out the vehicle. Genesis speed is not all that. I feel like you should be better, and her vehicle doesn't even have high sustain. Twinkle, like we said, worst character I would say out of these 3. Twinkle's the worst one, no doubt, for sure. So I think that's perfectly right there. And Anyways, C tier we got Hannah, Lupita, Jean, and Seif, I believe his name is. Um, Lupita, like I said, she could be an S tier character or A tier character, but the fact that she damaged teammates so annoying because when you have a Lupita doing fire in your face, that like ruins the whole momentum of destroying your own teammates getting points, you know. So that's pretty bad. So she's actually the best character here that could go up if they fix that issue where she damaged teammates. Um, and also, like I was saying, Fuego is the only one that could go through her fire and not take damage if you're running Lupita on another team or your own team. So that's what's funny about that. You gotta worry about your own team, guys. So we got here Gene. He could be a B tier, possibly. You know, people might like him more. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Gene, but I think he's good at C because his sustain is not high, and like I say, you still take damage even with the spikes up, so that's a downer. Seif, you know, he's stuck at C for sure, and she could be B also, but you know, like I said, you gotta really be precise on hitting people a specific way with her super. The fact that it kind of doesn't last that long, it kind of defeats the purpose. If you don't hit in that specific way, by the time you know, get back into speed to hit someone again, you won't be able to hit them with her freaking katana sword at that point. And here we got Harmony, Sergeant Rescue, Sander, and Box Top. Box Top Sander, I think is great. Unless Sander things changes, like I said, let me know in the comments. It'll be way better. It'll be honestly possibly an S tier character if it does change. If you know about that lock on staying there or switching constantly. Sergeant Rescue good at B. Box Top good at B. Harmony she could be a S tier character, but the fact that her ground ability sucks, I think that's good enough for her. So perfect example, Bluefang, he could be S. I know a lot of people will say he's S tier, but like I said, I'm looking at it as a perspective as a newcomer and even pro player. If you missed that first time with the spreader, you gotta wait a while to charge up, and while you're waiting, you could take a lot of damage. You could note that your car is not that fast, so that's like a downside there, so you got to be careful on that. So it's all about making sure you hit your ability on your first hit and getting a double kill or one kill, whatever. But if you miss, it takes away time, and then it makes it where you get more damage and less time to cash in. My man, the Luchador here. I know I'm not saying his name because I can't remember currently right now, so I'm just gonna go with Luchador. Um, he's great. Like I said, I think he's perfect at A tier. He's close to S, but you know he has a slow vehicle, and that armor is only for the front anyway, so that's a difference. And I think Muna, right? That's her name. Great character, great for newcomers, great for pros. High, great sustains. You could probably have better sustain than Luchador, even though I said he has the higher one. But if you back up that armor with her ability, unstoppable. You're doing damage. You could just be so annoying and not taking damage. And Vatu, the best nuke in the game, instant 80 points once you rack it up. So you could probably go down to A, like I said, because you got to rack up for to get the nuke. But you know, that's one thing. And Fuego, really talked about him. Great character. He could be an A character too. So if we did had to change it, we'll put Ratu and Fuego at A and put Bluefang at S tier with Muna. That's how I would keep it as likely. And possibly Sander at A if we find out that about that thing. And Lupita could be a B character, but like I said, Lupita could be an S tier character if just you know if you didn't damage teammates. So that's the difference there. But anyways, guys, that's all for the tier list. I hope you guys enjoy. I know it's a little long, but trying to get everything out there as specific as we can. If you're a newcomer or a veteran, if you're interested in knowing these tier lists, let me know in the comments below what you guys think. If you guys agree, who you guys think should be on a higher tier list up here. Maybe as someone that I put a D tier, you tell me the reason you think he's an S tier character, maybe. That'd be crazy, but I'd love to know your opinions. I like seeing everyone's point of view, of course. And yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. If you guys agree, well, how would you do this tier list? And for sure, like and subscribe, guys, like always. And I'll catch you on the next one. Remember to follow my Twitch, guys. I'll be playing this game a lot lately. I mean, I need people to play with it for sure. I don't got many people to play with it, so if you might want to join me up in the game, I could always use good teammates to do some cool, fun plays and get a lot of wins on. And also, if you look in the description below, we got a Discord community that I just started. We got only a few people from my Twitch following. If you guys want to join up, communicate, we got all the games there that I be streaming videos for. to talk about them. And then we got a little Funko page there that I'm starting out because I just started my new Funko series, so that's pretty cool too. So if you guys want to share your Funkos on there, talk about the hype of new Funkos coming out, and too. So check that out in the description, guys. But yep, my social media is all down there too. Follow me on there, and I'll catch you on the next one. Next one, guys. Take care.